What do you get when you have all three major motorsports racing in different North American countries on the same day? You get an amazing mixture of international mediocrity, overhyped disappointment, and near-death experiences. Yeah, after last week being a Michigan-only video, this week has a triple header with F1 in O Canada, NASCAR in Mexico, and IndyCar in not quite St. Louis. All three of these places would require me to get a passport and a rabies vaccine. So let's get straight to it. The Canadian Grand Prix at Canada. I don't know. I'm a dumb American. George Russell remembered that shitbox Mercedes was supposed to be good, gaining pole position ahead of Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri. But I thought McLaren was supposed to be dominant. Yeah, I know, right? They should, but they started third and seventh. Lando is throwing away this championship with the same enthusiasm as me inhaling my fourth plate of food at the Chinese buffet. So it's lights out, and I want to jump off a bridge. Yeah, the standard first lap shenanigans before the race settles down into its rhythm. Nothing super serious. Until lap 67, Lando Norris gets a run on teammate Oscar Piastri. Yes, here we go. A head-to-head battle between the two championship leaders. Lando misjudged the gap and crashed into Oscar. This sends Lando into the 12th dimension, otherwise known as out of the race. So because the crash happened so late, the race would end under the safety car, with George Russell winning, Max Verstappen and Kimi Antonelli rounding out the podium.
Boring!
From one snooze fest to a fiesta. Just kidding, it was a siesta. The Viva Mexico 250 in Mexico City, NASCAR's first race in Mexico since ever. And spoiler alert, I didn't like this race. Yes, I defended road courses after COTA. Yes, I'm all for NASCAR trying new things. But this weekend, this isn't it, fam. I'm trying too hard. Oh, what is my life? Now, before we get to the Cup race, shout out to Daniel Suarez for cashing his one win a year token for an Xfinity win at his home track. And with that, he is eliminated from contention in the Cup Series Championship, because he's not going to get in on points. Anyway, Shane Van Gisbergen leads the field to green for lap 1, and then it rains. And this brings out the caution, and we have to put the rain tires on. Oh, joy. So back to green, and on lap 7, Kyle Busch becomes the destroyer of hopes and dreams by playing the part of Wrecking Ball, collecting Kyle Larson, Zane Smith, Justin Haley, Chase Briscoe, and AJ Allmendinger. A friendly reminder, it has now been well over 70 races since Kyle Busch won last. Also, if you look closely, Zane Smith did not in fact get hit by Kyle, he just overcooked it into the corner as well. Well done, everybody. Now it's time for America's favorite new sitcom, Carson and Ricky. To recap last time, Carson host-var ran over Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at Nashville and knocked him out of the race. The cliffhanger we were left with was what would Ricky do in retaliation to this obvious hate crime. The answer, talk a bunch of shit and not much else. But this week's episode, boy was it a doozy. Carson was a lap down and basically out of the race. He was just there logging laps. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is running down a car for position on the lead lap just ahead of Carson. They come into the stadium section of the track, and Carson does the funniest thing ever. He runs over Ricky in the turn again, because of course he did. After the race, Ricky came over to Carson's car and gave him some words of encouragement, from a vet to a young gun. And I'm just kidding, Ricky said he was going to kick his ass. My favorite part of all this was Josh Berry watching this unfold like watching a lion play with its prey. So Carson's sentence in the rice fields has been doubled. Next week on Carson and Ricky may just bring back crowd favorite Ricky's cargo shorts from the All-Star episode last year. So Shane Van Gisbergen wins by like 16 seconds, which is unheard of in modern NASCAR. Speaking of playoffs, let's go to everyone's favorite segment, Let's All Bitch About the Championship format. Last week, I called Ryan Blaney's year dog shit. If that's true, then SVG's year has been a flaming bag of dog shit on top of a septic truck that is also on fire. He's been so bad, I'm pretty sure the U.S. government thought about building a wall around New Zealand in response.
We're going to build the wall. We have no choice. We have no choice.
But here we are, a driver who has been nowhere all year long winning a race, thus taking up a spot in the playoffs. Yes, this is getting repetitive. Yes, I annoy me too. Yes, I will continue to rant about this until it gets fixed, or God smites me for screaming into the void too loud. Now from terrible to terrifying. The Bomarito Auto Group 500 at Worldwide Technologies Raceway. And right off the bat, Scott McLaughlin stalls his car on pit road as they're about to go out for pace laps. Scotty Mack and problems on pace laps. Name a more iconic duo. On lap 4, Devlin DeFrancesco wrecks his rear wing and then gets run over by the cameraman when running back to his car. I don't think I've seen a better embodiment of Fox being terrible than running over a driver during the race. Lap 47 brings out the caution again when Will Power forgets to turn in the corner and smacks the wall. During the ensuing pit stops, we get another pit lane fire and the general insanity of pit road when Christian Lundgaard decides to park it in the middle of pit lane. Then, Josef Newgarden becomes the next auto racer to chase the dream of being an astronaut. Josef was leading the race, catching some lap traffic. Ahead, Louis Foster gets up into the wall and comes back down across the track on the front stretch. Josef is swerving down to pass him where they meet at the wall, sending Josef up into the air and almost throwing him over the wall into pit lane. He winds up on his roof as sparks fly until he comes to a stop. This is an absolutely scary accident, but luckily Louis and Josef both walk away. So let the jokes begin. Josef Newgarden has had himself a terrible season. Last year, he won both the Indy 500 and the race at Gateway. This year, broken at Indy and airborne at Gateway. Maybe this is still cosmic justice in response to Penske's repeated cheating. If only God cared about motorsports. So Kyle Kirkwood wins, his third on the season. And this race was actually entertaining, unlike the other two. It just came at the expense of Josef's connection with gravity. I'd take that trade. I'd make that deal damn good deal. Now it's time for some awards. The This Is Why No One Likes You, You Big Dumb Dipshit award goes to Kyle Busch for going bowling in the rain. This man is throwing the season away faster than the Colorado Rockies. The Look What Happens When You Put a Driver in a Position to Not Fuck It All Up award goes to whoever decided to let Catherine Legg race this weekend. Now, she still finished like 32nd or something way in the back, but you know what she didn't do? Wreck Daniel Suarez while being a lap down like she did at Phoenix. A road racer being better on the road and on oval. The Balls and/or Ovaries of Steel award goes to this AMR worker in IndyCar. After Newgarden got sent into the Shadow Realm, this safety worker says, "Hold my Red Bull," and hops the pit wall to get to the car. Now, some things you need to know about EMS workers are, 1, they are taught not to put themselves in danger because if you get hurt, you can't help the patient. And 2, they are fueled pretty much exclusively by spite and caffeine. So for this absolute legend to Leroy Jenkins it over the barrier to check on Newgarden is pretty kick-ass. Hats off to you, sir and/or madam. You're doing the Lord's work. The I Thought Monaco Was Weeks Ago award goes to America's Hat. That race was fucking boring. Not as bad as the Cup race, but still boring. The Help Me Obi-Wan Kenobi, You're My Only Hope award goes to Kyle Kirkwood, who is our only hope against Darth Pillow. And yes, I can hear some people screaming, but Pato Award's sucking in points. Yeah, he is. And he's not won a race. My brainwashing from NASCAR is so complete that I can only believe in race winners being capable of winning championships. Help me. The Please Try to Take This Seriously, You Little Shit award goes to Lance Stroll. Not only does Lance Stroll finally look dead on the inside, but he has returned to his historic norm, which is complete shit. And this brain-dead moron is getting an Adrian Newey car next year. Why, oh why, does God let good things happen to complete imbeciles? Next week, IndyCars at Road America and NASCAR is at Pocono. What makes me sad is this will be Prime's last broadcast of the year. Hopefully, it's more enjoyable than the snooze fest we got at Mexico. So to review, Carson Hocevar is in a witness protection rice field hiding from Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Josef Newgarden is cursed this year. Lando Norris doesn't want to be champion. I love me a Chinese buffet. And my crusade against the playoffs will continue until they are dead or the France family has been killed like Hillary Clinton had Harambe killed. Thank you, and...